Gareth, it's good to see you again, ready for the start of the new season. It's been an incredible summer really, with so much sporting drama. How's your summer been? You've been to a few different events as well. Is there anything you've taken from those different sports as well?
Oh, always. I mean, I've enjoyed just going and watching some other sports through the summer. Whichever events you go to, you're learning about high performers, teams working together, elite athletes. So I've enjoyed all of them. I'm a big cricket fan, so it's been great to see England win. In terms of learning about a team and elite performance, my sort of trip to Mercedes and Formula One was the one that was a world I knew very little about really, and really impressed me, the level of their work and the detail that they go into. And I have to say, Lewis Hamilton, incredibly impressive and undervalued British sportsman.
Into a number of grounds already in the Premier League season, keeping busy. How pleased are you with how things are looking from what you've seen from your players and others who may potentially come into the frame later in the season?
Yeah, well, September's always a difficult squad to pick in that there are so few opportunities for the players to play, and clearly we have left some players out of the squad that just haven't featured yet for their clubs, either through injury or just lack of opportunity. But we learnt last September that the physical performance is key. That pre-season period and this early season, teams are finding their level of fitness anyway. And so for the likes of Eric, Dele, Fabian, who haven't had game time, very difficult for them to come in and succeed at international level at this stage of the season. So we're conscious of what they've given us already, but there are players that are playing well, have match minutes under their belt, and we feel for September that's a better route for us to go. There are players that are returning that have been with us before, and there are some players that have worked with the under-21s who we're working with for early, not the first time in the case of Mason or James Maddison, but they haven't been with us too often. And then we have somebody like Tyrone Mings who hasn't worked at under-21s or seniors with us. So the competition is really impressive now. I think we've attacked a problem of resources in a different way and gone with some younger players, and that's opened up a bigger pool of players. It means that we're a little bit short in September on leadership experience. But that's an opportunity for others to step up, and we still have some experienced players in that group, and we have some others that we want to see step up in those areas that have the chance to do that. I think it's good to be explicit on how you expect some of the senior players to be, but equally you're observing, because the leaders don't have to be the older ones. We've got some good young characters who will lead, and we have to give them the opportunity to do that. But you're always observing, as a group of coaches and as our wider staff, you're observing people's behaviours and how they interact, and the impact they have on the rest of the group as well as their own performance.
You've touched on the competition. It's probably none more so than at right back. Obviously Aaron Wan-Bissaka coming into the side as well. Kieran returning, who missed out in the summer. That's probably one of the areas where you have got the most depth, isn't it, as well? So you went out to see Kieran at the weekend, so he must be delighted to be coming back into the fold, but it shows that those opportunities are always there to make your mark and come back in.
No question. I mean, it is arguably our most competitive position on the pitch. I think this is an opportunity for us to really have a look at the two younger boys in particular. I've spoken with Kyle about this, and I want to have a look at the younger ones. It also gives us an opportunity to reintegrate Kieran, who had some difficulties at the end of last season, but is still a top player and has settled really quickly at Madrid. They're very happy with him. So we wanted to bring him back in. But the main focus in that area is, okay, where are these two younger ones? And now is a good opportunity to invest some time in them. Trent had a fantastic end to last season. Aaron, I think, played very well last year. We wanted to leave him with the under-21s for last season. In his 1-against-1 defending, he's as good as I've seen in the league. So all of our right backs are a slightly different profile with different qualities, But we're interested to see whether we can develop them as well as individuals.
Yeah, there's other players returning as well as Kieran, for example, Oxlade-Chamberlain and Nick Pope as well. So lots of different opportunities to come back in and show what they're about.
Yeah, well, Nick was a great member of the squad through the World Cup in Russia. Suffered the injury almost immediately when he came back. And it's an unfortunate spell for Jack Butland. He's had a difficult few weeks in particular. I was delighted for him that he almost put a flag in the ground the other night. Taking the penalty was an incredibly brave moment, and I'm really pleased that ended up in a positive way for him. So he's got a little bit of a rebuilding period. But Nick, we know all about, and we've also got some good young goalkeepers coming through who are going to push those guys. I think what is important is that the under-21s, we promoted a lot of young players very quickly, and that landscape will change now because our depth of talent we've managed to increase by the way that we've selected. So it isn't just going to be a natural progression that I play in the under-21s and now I'm in the senior team. That's going to be a bit harder. We've moved a couple of players up, a couple that we want to know a bit more about. But now we're developing a depth of talent, and you can see the players that, because of fitness, we've kind of left out. There's competition, and there are some other players on the fringes that we're looking at closely. So the next 12 months, people say, oh, the manager picks the squad. Actually, the players pick the squad because their performances. I'm going to be fascinated to see how they respond with their club and with us over the next 12 months in particular.
2 big home games coming up. Just how important are these in terms of our progression and building something and putting ourselves in a really good place ahead of October?
Yeah, well, there's qualification which we want to secure, and we've got to have the humility to understand that that is not a given. Whoever is in the group and whatever level we think we're at, we have to be conscious that Kosovo are a great example. People might look at the fixture and not know too much about them. They're unbeaten in nearly a dozen games, I think. Very proud new nation. Some really good quality players. Some playing in Italy, some in Germany. So it's that will be a test that I think will surprise people. I'm expecting them to really push ourselves and the Czech Republic in the group, and also the seeding for the finals, if we get there, depends a little bit on your qualification points, and there are lots of groups where teams are unbeaten. So again, there's an advantage to us, winning all of our games if that's possible. So there's a drive in terms of the qualification, but the biggest drive for us is every day how we work as a team, looking to improve our level and recognising that we've constantly evolved as a team. We came back from the World Cup, we weren't happy that that was enough. We've come back from the Nations League, not happy that that's enough, and that will continue, and the competition for places is key to that. Playing for England at Wembley is of course very, very special, so first and foremost that you would always want that to be possible, but equally my experience as a player and as the manager taking the team on the road has been a really healthy one, and I think it's important people in other parts of the country get the opportunity to see England, and we're able to do it a couple of times this year. So we're looking forward to Southampton. Taking the team away from Wembley can bring a different atmosphere, but the fans there can play a huge part in us winning the game that night.